Starting with absolutely nothing creates two drastically different realities. For some, it's a heavy, permanent cage. But for others, it's literally the ultimate rocket fuel. Today, we're breaking down the exact psychology of getting rich from absolute zero.
So, does starting with nothing trap you, or does it fuel you? Look, the answer isn't sitting in your bank account right now. It is entirely in your psychology. Psychology is that invisible force deciding whether financial scarcity becomes a life sentence, or honestly, your greatest unfair advantage.
The biggest advantage self-made millionaires have when they start from zero? It isn't initial capital. It isn't a rich uncle. And it definitely isn't luck. It's a highly specific mental framework. And the best part? It's a framework you can install in your own mind today, no matter how empty your wallet is right now.
All right, let's jump right into step one of this explainer, mastering the long game and the power of delayed reward.
The absolute first mental trait of those who build wealth from zero is this really unusual tolerance for delayed reward. I mean, while most of us are biologically wired for that instant dopamine hit, needing a win right this second, builders are completely fine planting seeds today that won't sprout for years. They deeply understand that comfort today is the enemy of wealth tomorrow. Delayed gratification is basically the psychological superpower of valuing future freedom over present comfort. While the masses are out there chasing immediate pleasure, financing the newest phone the literal second they get paid, or upgrading their apartment way before their income actually justifies it, wealthy minds, they completely embrace the boring seasons. They spend their nights building a side business, mastering a high-income skill, or creating digital tools that'll generate passive revenue down the line. They don't need life to feel good today. They just need to know it's going to improve tomorrow. But here's the catch. Saving money and delaying pleasure is totally useless if you don't fundamentally change how you see yourself. Which brings us to steps 2 and 3, reframing who you are through identity and imperfect action. Because honestly, delaying a reward means absolutely nothing if your internal identity is still stuck at zero. People who build wealth from the ground up do something incredibly difficult. They completely detach their identity from their current broke circumstances. Like, they might have exactly $0 in their checking account, but they absolutely refuse to think, speak, or act like someone permanently stuck there. Don't worship the present. Use it. Psychology proves over and over that your internal identity drives your external behavior. People who rise from nothing view their lack of money as a temporary condition. It's just a raw data point, right? Not a permanent label tattooed on their forehead. They use their current state of lack as a brutal stepping stone to build the next digital tool, hunt down that next opportunity, and literally force their way out of the bottom. And the crazy thing is, once you separate your identity from your empty wallet, a massive shift happens in how you execute. You completely stop waiting for the perfect moment. You start learning through action, not perfection.
There is just a brutal contrast between waiters and builders. Waiters demand absolute certainty. They wait until they feel 100% ready, and because of that, they get trapped forever in this endless planning phase. Builders, on the other hand, start before confidence even arrives. They test, fail, adapt, and learn. They forge competence through pure, messy repetition. This is exactly why the quiet builders are out there launching their digital e-commerce brands, throwing up a faceless YouTube channel, or offering freelance services online right now, while the waiters are literally still agonizing over their logo font. You just have to move.
Let's look at step 4, calculating your risks and managing the danger. To take that aggressive, imperfect action, you have to step into the unknown. You have to become highly comfortable with controlled risk. Because wealth from zero demands uncertainty. That might mean investing your last few $100s into an online tool instead of groceries, maybe relocating to a city with a better network, or totally abandoning a safe career to actually start a business. The reality of taking the leap isn't what most people think, though. The true risk profile of a successful builder is 10% actual danger and 90% calculated discomfort. They don't just blindly gamble their life savings. They just learn to manage the fear. They accept calculated discomfort as the mandatory price of admission for future freedom. But what keeps them pushing through that massive discomfort when things get incredibly hard? Well, praise is nice, but it is incredibly weak fuel when times get genuinely hard. That leads us directly to step 5, pain as your ultimate fuel and strongest motivation.
Self-made individuals share this dark but super powerful secret. They stay motivated by pain much, much longer than they are ever motivated by praise.
Think about it. What actually fuels the engine when you're totally exhausted and just want to quit? Spoiler alert, it isn't a beautiful vision board. It's memories of struggle. It's deep-seated insecurity, past humiliation, moments of absolute desperate lack. Psychology shows that emotionally charged, negative motivation can sustain massive, superhuman effort for literally years. When you're driven by the visceral memory of a declined credit card at the grocery store, you don't stop working just because someone gave you a polite compliment. You're relentlessly chasing escape, not applause.
Which brings us to the ultimate realization of this explainer. Step back and build the mind first. Money often comes later. The mindset comes first. Getting rich from zero is rarely a financial transition at first, it's an immense mental transformation. Before the passive income starts flowing, before that online business scales to 6 figures, and before the investments compound, you must first forge a mind capable of surviving the brutal, lonely road required to get there. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Which matters more to you right now? Opportunity, discipline, or psychology? Look, you can have all the digital opportunities and monetization tools in the world right at your fingertips, but if your psychology is wired for comfort, you're going to stay exactly where you are. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Build the mind, embrace the discomfort, and start taking messy, imperfect action today.